Right, let's take a look at what is happening in the markets, and we start off with the JSE, seeming that sentiment is slightly more upbeat today on the economic growth front. We did have the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, revising up its growth, the world economy global outlook for 2024. But for South Africa, slashing the economic growth prospects for 2024 to 1%. Of course, we are seeing the all share up almost 1/3% today, with the Resources 10 complex carrying the bulk of those gains, advancing more than 1%. Financial 15 there with a gain of more than 0.4%, but the Industrial 25 bucking that overall trend, declining more than 1.5%. Let's take a look at what is happening in the U.S. markets and stateside. The Fed starts its two-day monetary policy meeting today. Of course, that will be concluded tomorrow. We also have tech earnings coming up this week. We will have Microsoft and Alphabet releasing results this evening. And of course, on the economic data front, we'll also be looking out for data coming out of the jobs market. But after those markets reached new highs yesterday, we are seeing them declining at the moment. The S&P 500 down almost 1/10%, with the tech-heavy Nasdaq declining more than 1/5%, and the Dow shedding 0.14%. Let's take a look at what is happening in the European markets. And on that front, we did have the Eurozone GDP print for the fourth quarter coming out, with the Eurozone managing to avoid a recession. Of course, it did have a 0.1% contraction in the third quarter, but we did have the fourth quarter there, economic growth being flat. But we are seeing a sea of green over there. FTSE 100 up almost 2/3%. The CAC 40 advancing 0.5%, and the DAX climbing 0.15%. Let's take a look at what is happening on the currency front and start off with how the rand is doing against some of the major currencies. A slight weakness on the rand against the dollar at 18.86 rand at the moment, against the pound at 23.87 rand, and against the euro at 20.44 rand. Let's take a look at how the other currency pairs are doing, starting off with the euro dollar at 1.08, pound dollar at 1.26, and the yen just below 148 against the US dollar.